الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Bismillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, when he was about to send Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, he gave him a comprehensive advice, something that he will use over there when he leaves the land of Islam into a new land altogether. So he said to him, and I will translate, اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. And the hadith is narrated by Tirmidhi. He said to him, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you go, and follow the bad deed with a good deed that will erase it, and when dealing with people, practice the best of manners. What is taqwa? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam is telling Mu'adh ibn Jabal to practice taqwa. Taqwa sometimes is translated as the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or piety. Abu Hurairah alayhi radwanullah, when he was describing that, he said, imagine if you're walking along a narrow path with some really loose garment, delicate materials. How would you walk through that path? And the path is covered by thorns on both sides. You would just bring it as close as you can to your body and walk very carefully. And he says this is taqwa. So taqwa, as the scholars, one of them is Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, said, is to put some kind of a shield between you and the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything that you do goes into that category. When you do an act of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you stay away from the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it goes into taqwa. And taqwa is something that is great to attain. It's something that we need to attain in order to get to Al-Jannah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he was describing Al-Jannah, he said, أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It was prepared for those that have taqwa. And he said that it will be given, نُورِثُهَا عِبَادُنَا مَنْ كَانَ تَقِيًّا. We will give it to those that have taqwa. And with Ramadan coming, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us. Allah made that as the purpose of the fasting. So he said, O you who believe, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. O you who believe, fasting was made mandatory upon you like those above, before you, so that you may attain taqwa. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying to Mu'adh ibn Jabal that when you go to that new land in Yemen, practice taqwa wherever you go. Whether you in Medina, where it's easy, the Prophet is there, all the great Sahaba are there, or you go to that new land, which is Yemen. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you go. And after that, the Prophet ﷺ said to him, وَأَتْبِعْ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Follow the bad deed with a good deed that will erase it. Now, why did the Prophet ﷺ mention the bad deeds and the good deeds at that time? Because the Prophet knows that having taqwa does not mean being perfect. Nobody's infallible except the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's why he said, if you slip, if you commit some mistakes, if you do something bad, and it is likely to happen because you're a human being, what do you do in a situation like that? You follow the bad deed with a good deed. That will erase it. Because very often we think, if I do something bad, then we feel really so bad about it ourselves that we stop doing the good deed sometimes. How can I stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I just did this yesterday. I just looked at haram. I'm not saying that we should do that, but what I'm saying, if it happens, the way to deal with it is to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to do more of the good deed, not more of the bad deed. So you do not follow a bad deed with another bad deed. I looked at haram, so I will stop praying. No. If you've done something bad, you should do more of the good deed. Because the Prophet is promising in this hadith, he said, follow the bad deed with a good deed that will erase it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that to us in the Quran as well. He said, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. The good deeds erase the bad deeds. So this is a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course it's great that the bad deeds do not erase the good deed. Otherwise, all of us will be in trouble. So the Prophet ﷺ is telling us what to do. If you've done something bad, do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that itself could be a graver sin than whatever else you would do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us hope in the Quran when He said, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. O my servant who have transgressed against themselves, do not give up on the mercy of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can forgive all of the sins. That's what He promised us. So when you make tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you make any form of glorification to Allah, remember that. When you say Allahu Akbar, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater. Allah is greater than my sins, He can forgive them. Allah is greater than my weaknesses, He can strengthen them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than my sicknesses, He can cure them. And then after that, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. Then when you're dealing with people, all the people, Muslims or non-Muslims, express the best of manners. Why did the Prophet mention that? As if to indicate to us that this is part of taqwa. That taqwa, this taqwa that we all look to achieve, does not only include the worships, the strict act of worships, the rituals, like the fasting, the prayer, the Quran, but it goes beyond that into including also the way that we deal with the other people. That's why he said that when you're dealing with others, deal with them in the best of manners. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he was praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That indeed you have a great khuluq, a great character, a great manner. All of what goes into that category. And the Prophet ﷺ said that those closest to me on the Day of Judgment are those that have the greatest manners. And subhanAllah, especially if you're living among non-Muslims, these manners will be your face, the face of your message. This is how they will judge your own message, by looking at the way that you act, not the words that you just say, but the way that you act. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying to us that express the best of the manners. Again, this is not just for the purpose of da'wah, but for all other purposes as well, because this is the essence of the deen. Again, the Prophet ﷺ said, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you go, follow the bad deed with a good deed that will erase it, and express the best of manners when dealing with other people. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us recognize the truth and help us follow it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us recognize the evil and help us avoid it. جزاكم الله خير والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.